right, good morning, everybody. Gregory, I don't know if you're still in here, but I've been live every day for over a month. But it's good to hear from you. I hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Shaky, Tanashi, Kanini, Mustang, John, Stormer. Good morning to you all. Charts are looking good. Good morning, America. Yeah? Bald eagles and American flags and all that stuff. Maybe some fireworks. I don't know. Charts are looking decent, though. Of course, nothing is ever guaranteed. So I guess when I say the charts are looking good, my expectations or my reasoning for saying why I think the charts are looking good is simply only based off of, do I have a template that I know what I'm looking for? And when I have one of those, makes it simple. All right. So let's get into this thing. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. You are looking Indian. I don't know what that means. But let's go and take a look at the charts. But first, before we do that, just as a brief reminder, this is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. All right. Feel free, pause this, read this. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so whenever I come to the charts in the morning, the very first thing that I do is I always pull up the NASDAQ. Why? There's no particular reason. It's the first one on my list. And this looks pretty decent. So, I haven't done this in a little while where, I usually will give everybody kind of just a brief reminder of what we're looking for every single day. And, why? Why are we looking for the things that we're looking for? What is the line of thinking? Where do the setups come from? How do things build? They build over 3 days. They build over, 3 sessions. Everything kind of seems to come in threes. And there's a few different topics that we can talk about how the market moves to help us identify where and how these setups are building and why they are building the way that they are. So whenever a market is making higher highs and higher lows structurally, whether this be on a larger scale, because the market is fractal, we could be looking at this over multiple days. We could be looking at these swings intraday on the day. It really does not matter. We're talking about larger trade setups, though, so let's just think about that. So a day that is going up. Anytime we're making higher highs and higher lows, and then the market makes a lower low because that is outside of the current structure, that's odd, that's strange, that's bizarre even. It has a few options. It can either, number one, go back for a retest. It's always going to go back for some form or fashion of retest, either in the form of a lower high getting put in place for follow through and continuation. It could be a higher high that fails and goes down for follow through and continuation based off this lower low. Or in some cases, it will break back out to the upside and pull back. It has enough strength to continue the momentum to go higher. And this would be like a little reset down here, and then the market will just continue to go up. Okay. That's how the market moves around in threes, and also structurally, higher highs and higher lows, lower lows and lower highs. And then this, anytime a structural level is broken, they always go back for a retest. So if we're looking at a market, for example, that has been going up for, let's say, 3 weeks, and then maybe even 3 days, and then it were to break the other side, we know that, hey, this could be going back up for some form or fashion, some sort of retest of the high. It could go back up and put in a lower high or whatever, all right? But we're looking for the rollover, right? This could be your first red day, and then maybe the first red day doesn't even trigger previous day's low, but the next day does. So that would be like your lower low on a daily level, and then it pops back up and rolls over. Told you all yesterday that setup is just growing more and more on me. It's just so reliable. Fantastic bread and butter. Okay. when it sets up well. All right, and finally and lastly, the market only does three things: breakout trend, breakout reverse, or stay inside of a trading range. The three market conditions. The only three things that the market is capable of doing. It's not capable of, I don't even know how to be funny on here or make a sarcastic comment, so I'm not even going to try, but that's the only three things that it can do. It can stay inside of a box, inside of a range, high and low. It can break out of that box and pull back and then continue to go up. It can break out and then fail and then go back to the other side. Sometimes it only goes back to 50%, but a lot of times it will go back to the other side of the range and go back for the money. Only three things it can do. So when we're looking at breakout markets, or maybe something that has made a lower low and then gone up for 3 days, or maybe it's broken and made a lower low and then popped back up. So maybe this was like first green day, then you get a first red day, and then you get follow through. That could be a template. These are all, different possible scenarios and things like that, but it's all about really structure and just understanding the templates. So if we're looking at this and I say, hey, this has been going up for in excess of a long time. I think this is like 5 or 6 weeks going up. And then we have a little blow off top here. All right. And then we broke down, we made lower lows. All right. This was also triggering the previous week's levels as well, which is good. Okay. And actually, I think this closed in breakout last week to the downside. Okay. Not a lot of information is going to be given to me from that. I just like to know, hey, we've been going up and the market broke out and closed lower. So maybe now, potentially, market go down. I don't know how for how long or anything like that, but it could be something that I should be looking for. Okay, so on Monday, we actually had a first green day. We've had a market that's been dumping down. Then we get a first green day. They broke out and they closed higher. And then yesterday on Tuesday, instead of breaking out and closing higher again, we get a 3 peaks pattern. And I think we actually talked about this at the end of the stream or in the beginning or in the middle, somewhere in there. I said, hey, if this were to close as a first red day, I would know exactly what to look for tomorrow. Well, sure enough, right, we've got the large pump up. I'm going to consider this a ramp of volume over here. We get a 3 peaks pattern, a market that's opened, high of week, tried to go higher 3 times. It's failed, and it's closed down here at its low. So textbook-wise, this is first red day. Okay. So we've got a lower low on a weekly scale. We have a first green leading into a first red. And then now today, on the day, we have triggered the previous day's low and pumped it back up. And this is where we're left off. Okay, low of day, we've pumped it back up. And this is where we are currently at. On the day, we started making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so I'm going to track that. Let's figure it out. Over here, I would not have considered this a low because actually right here it could have been. Right here it could have been because we've got one bar outside of the highest bars. This bar was the highest close in the move. We've got this bar closing lower, and then we have this bar closing even lower, so I can use this as a swing low here to represent a higher, basically a higher low. Sorry, I'm weird about my colors. Let's get this fixed. There we go. So we've been going up. We've been making higher highs and higher lows. They pulled off the high over here in 2 bars, which tells me, hey, your high is in place. So I have a higher high. And then they've came back down and broke this low, making a lower low. Does this mean it's going to go down? Think about what I said at the very beginning. If I have a lower low, does that mean it's going to go down? No, it means it's going to go back for a retest. Now, how is it going to retest? So we've popped back up now. We've broken out of this little 3-push consolidation down here. You can kind of see it once we break the low. Push 1, push 2. Push 2 is really big. Oh my gosh, get everybody going short. P3 ending in a 1, 2, 3. And then it reversed off the low. So we've got shorts trapped down here under P2. And then it's came back up. And this is how it's pulling back. Either it's a pullback or maybe we're going back for the high. I really don't know. We're going to wait until the session or in the session. I'm going to let these shorts start making money, and I might look to enter. Okay, maybe. That's a big maybe. I'm going to put all caps maybe. I don't know. Okay. First red day, lower low on the day, popping it back up. We'll see. US 30. Breakout. All right, we've been going down. Breakout, 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 breakout. 3 days minimum. Then we broke out. First green day, breakout day 1. Second day of longs triggered into the market yesterday on Tuesday. And then now today we have 3 days of longs triggered into the market. On a day where I have 3 days of longs triggered into the market, I am going to look for a few different things. You can look for either the front side of a move to have been broken. You can look for a lower low on the day. I like to see really the lower low on the day. That's my strongest, characteristic that I search for. Front side of the move having been broken is great. It's kind of just an additive, but it's not something that I'm going to, base the entire trade on. So on the day, what have we been doing? We've been going up. We have this bar here. They have not gone any lower. We have this bar up here. They've only gone lower for 1 bar, and they've gone higher again. So where was the last place that I had a low in place? I have a highest close in the move over here. That is pulled back in 1 bar lower and 2 bars. So I think that my last swing point that I can actually use, even down here on a 5-minute chart, is right there. Okay, all of this, every time this has gone any higher, has not pulled back appropriately. Ernest, hello to you as well. I almost said hey, 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 and I almost said it in the Fat Albert voice. Would have been pretty embarrassed. Anyways. All right, so I'm going to label this as well. Because if this continues, if this does break down and make lower lows, then I know what to look for. I've already got it mapped out here. We've triggered the high. This was 3 days of longs triggered in, so I'm going to label that as well. All right, and then we're going to go on to gold. All right, gold. What's gold been doing? So since Friday, we have a breakout, and we have a breakout close, which is great. Day 1, longs triggered into the market. Day 1 breakouts in that direction. On the next day, we do have the follow-through continuation of that breakout pullback, and then continue. And then we have a breakout close again. And then on the 3rd day of longs, we do trigger those in as well. So this is similar in the fact that we do have 3 days of longs. No first red day. Actually, it was US 30. Okay, so US 30 did have a bit of a first red up here. Unlike the NASDAQ, though, we have not triggered previous day's low. That is another thing I should point out. So let's get this up here. I want to make sure I get that. There we go. All right, so gold, no first red. All we have is the 3 days of longs. But it is continuing to make higher highs and higher lows on a daily level. However, on the day itself, it looks like we've been making lower lows and lower highs consistently. So let's map that out. We had a lower low over here, and they pulled back in excess of 2 bars, giving us a low to work from, and then they've gone lower. We have 1 bar back up. We do not have a second bar up, so I cannot consider this a low or a high, and they've continued to go lower. So my last lower high that I'm allowed to use is this one here. All right, they've gone to a low here. They broke out of that low in 1 bar and 2, so I am allowed to use this as a swing low. Phenomenal. Let's go to the Russell here. We're at 9:30 right now. I need to hurry up. In fact, we are going to, I've got 5 minutes. I got to wait for this 5-minute bar to close anyways. Russell, breakout, day 1, day 2, day 3 breakouts, similar to the US 30. We've got 3 days of breakouts. Same exact criteria is going to apply. Anytime I'm looking for a front side of a move to have been broken, so we can do something kind of like this. That looks good. Again, not the largest portion of the criteria that I need, but it is part of the criteria that I can look for. On the day itself, I do want to see a market making lower lows and lower highs after 3 days of breakouts. And it's looking kind of like... Don't see anything. The last place that we had a swing low put in place was down here. Yeah. Yep. This is, nope. That's not very good. It's not a great swing though. These two little itty bitty bars and then they just continue to go up. I mean, criteria wise, sure. Let's go on to oil. I just need to hurry up and get to my little, 4 charts here. Oil, been going down. Breakout day 1, breakout day 2, breakout day 3. So we're into 3 days of breakouts on the day, making higher highs and higher lows. Train may have already left the station as far as, this is the higher high. They've pulled back and then continued to go vertical. That's the first pullback. That's usually where I'm looking to get in. Higher high, the lowest place that they pulled back to before going higher was right here. And then they've gone higher. Pulled back. Okay. All right, this is all I can do. Let's get to our charts here. Yep. Very interesting, like the way that the things are moving. The thing that made the lower low is going vertical up. US 30 going vertical down. Three minutes into the open. All right. "25 seconds left on this bar. No news today, by the way. Yeah, this could be maybe looking for the high of the day to fail. Because they're going back they've made the lower low, right? So maybe they're going back for the retest. My cue would be if the retest fails. If they attempt to make a higher high, maybe they even succeed to make the higher high. But then they're not really able to do so. Smacking my 20 daily. Paulie, you love that 20 daily. Is it on the underside or the top side? Hey, everybody. Are you all able to hear me okay? Or am I just, do I need to open my mouth and speak a little bit louder? Be honest. You can tell me. It's good? Okay. Closer to the mic. Let me try. Let me try here. It might cut out for a second. All right, I think are we close enough now? Should be good. Okay, I'm watching NQ very, very closely. I changed my mic, I looked back, and that's what's happened. (9:37), no news on the calendar. Let's see. Your mustache is making scratching noises now. Oh my goodness. We can't have that. We certainly can't have that. I just trimmed it, so it can't be that long. Okay, we're looking for NQ to basically, it's gone up very dramatically, come back down, looking for this bar to close lower, and it'll start allowing the shorts back into the profit. Notice how they have not allowed this guy to make money. They've not allowed this guy to make money, and they haven't really allowed any of these people to make money. They're actually just floating right above it. All right, we want to see this come back down very dramatically. 13 seconds left on the bar. It would be even better if this bar closed outside of this bar's low. And it did not. Okay, we're looking for some follow through. This was a very dramatic up and then right back down. So the way that they have slammed this back down, I want to really make sure that playing it safe, playing it nice and cautious. CAD not allowing buyers out. Interesting. I look stressed? Oh my gosh. I'm a little tired, but other than that. Maybe a little under caffeinated. Maybe that's what it is. Definitely seeing some back and forth though, huh? All right, this bar is closed down, but if you notice, it's kind of closed perfectly in line with not really allowing the shorts out. Like I still just don't really feel comfortable until we start allowing these people to make money. Ooh. Ooh. Goodness gracious, I just got a cramp in my leg. Holy cow, you want to talk about stress? That was stress. Got a Charlie horse in the back of my leg. Holy cow. We're going to have to let that die down. All right. How y'all doing? Things are a little back and forth right now. Okay, we had off the open, US 30, big down closed bar. Now we're sitting on an inside range. We got an inside bar here. We broke down. We're going sideways. What's the pullback going to look like? Is it a pullback? Or are we just going to now make a move back up? I really don't know. Market's acting a little silly. Not really. Just gotta be patient. Excellent connection, and it's buffering. Weird. What in the world is NASDAQ doing? But this is good because this is this is exactly what we were just talking about. They're not letting the shorts out. Regardless of what's happened over here, they spiked up, they spiked down. This is all just feeding us information. Okay, gold. We got the break out of the highest closed down up closed bar here. Still not letting out shorts on gold. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Russell just came down. Yeah, NQ really is at war, isn't it? It's just like, they're playing some games. I don't want to play games. No games, please. What is my thesis on each instrument? 3 days of longs in the market on US 30, looking for a lower low. First red day on NASDAQ, already have a lower low. 3 days of longs on gold. On the day has already been making lower lows. Russell. I think the Russell was also 3 days of longs. Was waiting for a lower low, which we just got. Looking for shorts. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It might, Jakey, but I'm waiting and seeing. Got a little W down here. We got a breakout. Maybe this is leg 1. Maybe this is leg 2. Maybe they're gonna do a leg 3 to the high of the day. Take out the high of the day, and then maybe reverse. Or, and this is a big exclamation mark, all caps, or this is all just garbage. Maybe we're going back up. Maybe this was a large decline day in an up moving market, and we're going back to the high of the week. I don't know. Yesterday was first red. We've triggered the previous day's low. We've made a lower low on the day. So I'm just going to keep on maintaining my thesis until otherwise shown. We're just going to stick with this. I told you all, well, I actually typed it. Some of y'all probably just showing up. Certainly didn't see me type at the very beginning of the stream. When I pulled up the chart, NASDAQ was the one that stood out to me the most. First red, already made a lower low on a daily scale, daily level. And also triggered and made a lower low today. And also triggered a previous week's level in an up moving market. We triggered the previous week's low. Actually, hold on. Am I going crazy? No. Yeah, it was last Friday. So Friday triggered a previous week's level and closed in breakout and then popped back up. Yeah, that's why it's supposed to be my go-to for the day. It's got a lot of things going for it as far as setting up the template well. Because, I've just seen a reluctance to allow shorts into profit, but they seem to have no problem allowing the longs to continue to make money. Which obviously that's not what we want to see. Was Monday an inside day? Yeah, Monday was an inside, Johnson. They closed in breakout on Monday, outside of Friday's high. Although, on some brokers it might have been an inside day. On this chart though, Wanda, it was not. Yeah, look. This is not, by the way, I'm not doing this as like a haha, I'm right, you're wrong. I realize that kind of is what it sounded like. My B. That's not what I was doing. Previous day's high from Friday. That's this little dotted line here. And then they close up here. Yeah. So on some brokers, it's going to do that. And like on a futures chart, it might look a little different. Okay, other indexes look like they're being less difficult, which is great. The only reason I am not focusing in on those is because they didn't make the lower low until right now, which is fine. You can see they're moving a lot nicer, or a lot more nicely, which means I'll just not take the trade. You know, they're just not doing, they didn't do initially what I wanted. Gold, okay. W pattern. So maybe taking it as like a lower low. It really depends on how you view structure. I know that some people use like this is a high here. I don't know what the criteria is for that. And then this is a higher high, and then this is a failure to make a new low, and then follow through towards the high. That's how some people view structure, and I'm not saying that's wrong. That's just not how I personally use it. But if that's how you're viewing it, Mustang, then you know what? More power to you. Heck yeah. Gold's still in breakout from Monday. Breakout of Friday's high. Yeah. Yep. Still hasn't triggered previous day's low. 3 days of longs. Yeah, it certainly wasn't my first choice for today. NASDAQ was really supposed to be my first choice, just because it was meeting the criteria that I need to see. You know, lower low on the inside of the week's range. So basically low of Monday should be target. Unless it's a bear trap. Could be a bear trap. But this is I think a really, really good thing to talk about. This is a really good day to talk about this, because it does not matter how high your conviction is on something. You can keep on shorting this until the day turns red. It does not matter what you think based off of the template. Looks really good. I mean, this is fantastic. We have a breakout, a triggering of a previous week's level, a potentially down moving market. We've popped up over the course of 3 days. We've got a first red and a lower low on the inside of the week's range. Textbook wise, if you were reading it on paper, everything is perfect. But Cam, it's going up. Exactly. Reading price action and figuring out where people are trapped will save you in a lot of cases. Most cases. As long as you don't jump the gun. I mean, look how perfect this is. Look how perfect this is. Huge down close bar, huge down close bar, huge down close bar. So I've just, in a span of less than 5 seconds, very quickly identified levels where in this down move, people could be trapped. Big down close bar, big down close bar, big down close bar. So let's just kind of split it here. Notice how this big down close bar almost perfectly lines up with this big down close bar, which almost perfectly lines up with the close of this big down close bar. Well, that's weird. That kind of seems like maybe they're trying to force people to buy down low and get short. Maybe they're trapping shorts and I should wait. You know what I mean? Anyways. Just noticing little things like that will help. News on oil at 10. Yes, thank you, Paulie, for reminding me. Every Wednesday. What hurts more, Mustang? Does the losing and then realizing that you just weren't attentive enough? For me, okay, I'll just talk about my own personal experience. When I take a trade and then I double check it, and I'm like, if I would have just looked at it a little bit more and paid a little bit more attention to the details that I already know what to look for every single trade that I take, and I didn't do that on this one, that hurts really bad for me. It's like, dang, I didn't do what I said I should be doing. And then I just kind of, honestly, being real blunt about it, I feel really stupid. Like, it was right there. It was glaring. It was all right out in front of me. And I know what details to look for, and I just ignored them. Like, that's ridiculous. Why would I do that? But I think that's probably a very big thing that a lot of people do, because every single one, there's 84 people in here right now. And unless one of you is mutated into some other species, we all probably think similarly when it comes to the market. As far as, emotions go and behavior. So, my shortcomings will probably be the same as some other people, which is why I like to talk about them. But noticing little things like that, and then paying attention to the signs, and then following and, sitting here on my hands and seeing, hey, I didn't do something and it benefited me, is what has made me stop doing those bad things. It's like, oh, I did the right thing and I was rewarded for it. It's kind of like, this is going to sound ridiculous. It's kind of like when you train a dog, right? You got to give it some kind of reward system to make it continue that behavior. Like, hey, I really want you to pee outside instead of on the carpet. So every time you get a puppy and you take them outside and they pee outside instead of on the carpet, you give them a little reward. Good dog, here's a treat. You gotta retrain your own brain. It's like, oh, when I do bad things and I'm rewarded for it, so if I just click the button and it goes down a little bit and I get out and I make money, and it's like, oh, I've been rewarded for my bad behavior. You're training yourself to do bad things. But if you sit on your hands and you wait and you're rewarded for it over and over again, you can retrain your brain to, I do good thing happen, Anyways, that's my rant for the day. 10 o'clock, we've got 1 minute to a new hour. What's the hourly chart looking like? Okay. NQ is pulling all the stops. They are pulling every method to make you believe one thing or the other. They're using them all. They're using every method available. A little 1, 2, 3 back up. Let this guy out. Let this guy out and let this guy out, and I'll get in. Yep. That's what I'm going to go with. If you look at a 1 minute chart as well, what the heck is this? Go away. If you look at a 1 minute chart, all right, we got a big up close. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, pause 3, down. Pull back. And then they come back down. Big bars. Breaks the low, immediately reverses. Now we have a trap. Comes up, makes a higher high, comes back down. 1, 2, 3. Now we have a trap. 1, 2, 3. We got traps below P2. They come back up, not letting out. They are continuing to show evidence of shorts being trapped. I want to short the market, but the shorts are getting trapped. Might not be a good time, I'm going to keep watching, keep waiting. All So FOMC night, think about the logic of not trading before news. Number one, trading news is gambling. You don't know what it's going to do. They make the stuff up. The numbers are made up. I don't have evidence to support that. It's a theory. It's all just nonsense. It's garbage, right? They could say, well, we're expecting this number, but it came in less than expected. But it didn't come in as bad on the expect. This is what we expected. It came in lower, but it didn't come in as low as we. So the market goes up, and you're like, what is this? A double negative? You know what I mean? They just will say whatever. It doesn't matter. So the news is gambling, and prior to the news event taking place, the market will tend to put in a high and put in a low, and then just kind of sit in the middle of there, which is why I don't trade during news, because it will do all of these things to trap you, and then it will shift away once the news events hit. So FOMC is usually at 1400, or was it 1430, something like that, right? Eastern time. So 2 p.m. or 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. So the morning session is usually kind of consolidated, or maybe it makes a run into a high or makes a run into a low and reverses, and then they'll hold it into a range. So it's very difficult on a lot of FOMC days to trade in the morning, because it looks like the move is going to expand or it's going to break out and go, and then it doesn't. But on NFP days, non-farm, yes, of course, it's a very large news event. You do have to play it very safe, but there's the first bounce setup. There's a lot more movement and completions of templates after that news event takes place after 8:30 in the morning. And we have the entire New York session still after 8:30, but for FOMC, it's in the afternoon. So, I need to wait for that news event to take place first, and then I can trade the next day. I hope that makes sense, thought process-wise. But I do think that, like Steve Mauro, I think he said, like, don't even bother trading NFP days. And that's just implement what you think is right. For me, I think that I've had pretty decent success on NFP days. You just have to wait for the right one. The right setup. It's all about the setup, right? It's all about, is it actually completing my setup? It's not about how much it moves. Is my template following through? Right now, my template is not following through. My template is doing the opposite. It is what it is. But this was a good read. This was a really good read. And I'll chalk that up as a win. If it just keeps going up today, I'll take that as a win. Not monetarily, but I guess in life. Not bad. All right, so what's happened right now? We got a lower low. Every time we get a new structural break, they're going to go back for a retest. They've gone back to a retest. Will it succeed? It's a pretty big up close candle here. That doesn't really mean much. We're 5 minutes now into a new hour. What if the next bar or the next couple bar, if they close the bar back down here, it's a different discussion. Maybe the high is going to fail, which is also the high of the day. All right, we got a lower low and a high of day. We've gone back to the high of the day. $89 people in here right now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could do me a huge favor, hit the like button. It does help the stream quite a bit. Lets YouTube's algorithm know, hey, this guy doesn't stink. Appreciate it. I appreciate that, Ernest. Using multiple accounts, I like it. Oil just blew down. What is oil doing? That's a clean 3 push pattern. and they triggered the previous day's high. Do we have a 3-day setup though? Breakout, breakout, breakout. They just triggered the previous day's high. Actually, that's the first time they've triggered it in a while in a down moving market. Maybe they've trapped the longs at the high of the day. In a down moving market, they triggered the high. Got everybody caught. I have to wait for my criteria to play out. High of day, trigger previous day's high, higher high, pulling back to a lower low, or breaking to a lower low, excuse me. Kind of late to be making that lower low. Oh wait, the news. Oh yeah, Tony. I mean, you all have watched me do that over and over again. I'm like, oh, I've moved my stops to break even. They hit me at break even and go. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen a lot. I don't care. I would rather. What hurts more to me? Protecting myself and then watching it go my way, or not protecting myself and taking a loss on a scaled in position? Definitely option 2. Making 0 or losing lots. I'm going to take option 1 every time. Yep. Best traders, the best losers. Yep. Now, I'm not saying, just the moment you get into profit, I go to break even. No. Like it's moved away from my entry far enough to where I say, hey, they really shouldn't come back here. Also, this is where people are trapped in the chart, and I can safely be at break even to the point of like, I feel like this is good. I do use discretion and a little bit of experience to try and determine that. I don't have a like, this bar has done this, so I now go to break even. I don't do that. Price has moved far enough away from my entry, and I'm sized into a position that I feel comfortable going to break even, and that's all there is to it. That's why I do it. It's moved far enough away from my entry that if I were to take a loss on it, I would feel silly. Like, dang, I was up 1 or 2 R, and then it came back and stopped me out for a full loss. Tony, I tend to mainly use buy and sell stops. Sometimes I will market order. Sometimes I'll market order. So like, let's say that it's a down close bar like this. I'm not entering in on this position. I want to make that very clear. But let's say that the next bar opened and came back up like this. Like I'll market execute up high on an up close bar so that when it pins and goes, I can get in. Sometimes I'll put a limit up here if I'm confident in the setup. Like a very small. When I do that with a limit, I do it very, very small. It's like a test. And then on the follow through, the continuation, that's where I size in, or I'll size in more. But for the most part, like I wait for things to break down. I wait for them to do their 3 pushes. I wait for them to break down again and go sideways. And then I use a buy or sell stop to enter for the most part. Vast majority. All right. You all just get to look at my background for a couple seconds. I need a refill. And I need to stretch my legs a little bit. That leg cramp almost sent me into oblivion. Holy cow. I haven't had a Charlie horse since like probably 2022. What is it? 10, 11. We've got 3 minutes left on this bar. Yep. Running to grab a drink. 30 seconds. Coming back. Oh my gosh, I've clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Anybody time that? Was it fast enough? Anyways, there we go. All right, cheers, everybody. We've got the, hopefully I don't get copyright for this. Got the Core Power Milk with 42 grams of protein. Stuff's pretty good. That is not an affiliate link or anything like that. I just like the stuff. Actually, let's see. Let's check the ingredients on this bad boy. Okay. Okay, so oil's broken down. They made a lower low. That's fantastic. Probably high in sugar. I don't really... Actually, surprisingly not. It's got 7 grams. But that also means that it could potentially have other, like, artificial sweeteners. Maybe. I don't know. All right, so what am I waiting for? Why am I sitting here still watching candles go up and down? I'm still waiting for NASDAQ to potentially break the high of the day and then fail at the high of the day. If it does not do that, I will not take the trade. I'm waiting for them to start allowing shorts to make money. Paul, are you looking at I heard you say 20-day EMA. Are you looking at a 20-day or are you looking at a 20 bar? Because there's a 20 bar average and there's like there's like the day moving average. Daily? Okay. Just curious. Yeah, oil, they drove into the low. Now we got an inside bar, so they've broken down, maybe gone sideways. Oh, this is some... Look at that. Big down close bar. Look, this is the strongest down close bar you've ever seen. There's no wick. There's no tail. There's nothing. They opened the bar. They said, okay, we're going down. They went down. They said, okay, we're going to close this bar. And then they just closed it at the low. That is the strongest down close bar ever. Still not allowing shorts out of their positions. Trying to drink this whole thing. I haven't had any breakfast yet, so I'm trying to get a little something in me before I go work out. Sorry for you're gonna have to sit here and listen to me. You wanted the mic close to my face, all right? So in my defense, if you all can hear me drinking, I'm sorry, but the mic had to be close to my face, so it is what it is. 10.17. It's just so interesting. Oh my goodness. We're going to start playing the range. They basically broke out. Now we're going sideways. We're just not filling out the... I'm looking at US 30, by the way. Oh, this is actually oil. I take it back. What is US 30 doing? I'm not trading gold. I'm going to go and just look at oil. All right, we got these up here. Basically, indexes, oil. Why would you do that? Yeah, maybe. Maybe this is like some kind of weird higher high breakout pullback sort of ordeal. Could be. It certainly seems like it wants to squeeze higher. Or maybe today's just going to turn into a consolidated day. I don't know. Very interesting. Like a high bull. Engulfment. Straight up, straight back down. Broke out of the bar. Or if this is like a little breakout, fake out bar. It still seems reluctant. I'm going to let these guys out. Yeah, we got kind of like a 1, 2, 3. It's been trying for about 40 minutes to go back up. All right, I'm in small on NQ. I'm going to give this a go. I really want to see this guy get out. This is great. I really want to see this guy start making money. You know what I mean? I really just want to see this guy start making money. We've got 55 seconds left on this bar, so I have not sold a bar closure. I've sold in the middle of the bar, which is not great, so I'm not willing to add in. And if I get stopped out, I'll just be done for the day, because that's probably playing games at that point. Okay, it's a decent close. Not great, but decent. Again, I want to see this guy make money. I am not adding into this until this guy makes money. Market can pound sand and eat dirt. Won't do it. This guy needs to make money. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, right? Ultimately. Okay, thesis beam. We've got a lower low and a higher high that has now potentially failed. Potentially. That is so dirty. Look at that pin. I closed it right at the pin. Do, 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 do. We broke down and then we went into sideways consolidation for 4 bars. Holy cow. This is what I'm talking about, though. This is exactly why I'm not adding in. They're hovering. It's looking better. But I'm still not willing to fully commit. Still not willing to fully commit. Maybe. Maybe. It's, it's a big maybe. I truly have no idea. All right, what have they just done? They've come back up to the high of this down close bar here. I only add on confirmation, Shaky. That's my own personal way of doing things. I only add in on confirmation. So when they let this guy out here, excuse me, when they go down far enough to let this guy out, I'll feel better enough, or I'll feel better enough. I'll feel good enough to add a small, add in some size. Right now, I'm working with a small size and a wide stop. If I add in here with this wide stop, I'm over leveraging. And I don't really want to do that, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, at this point, either please just stop me out so I can be done and go on about my day, or go. That's really how it starts to feel. It's like just stop me out, or flip around and actually go do something. Right now, this is all it's doing. We're just sitting here on the inside of this, just playing around. We're playing in the sandbox. We're just goofing about, hanging out in the jungle gym. Get off the monkey bars. Let's go. You know, what am I even saying right now? Please go somewhere. That's the worst. That is the worst. My biggest pet peeve that doesn't really affect psychology or anything like that. It's just like the moment you get in and then it immediately goes right back into consolidation. You have to sit through some kind of pullback or something like that. And it's like, yeah. So they pin down, which could be the center structure of an M. They pinned up, which could be the right side of the M. And then they have gone vertical to the downside without allowing the previous down close bar, the capitulation move, to make money. And then potentially putting in a higher low here. For the sake of our trade, I hope not, but, you know, maybe. If it pins and then goes lower, that's great. If it immediately reverses off of this low and goes higher, not looking good. All right, we just saw this. It was capable of closing a little bit higher. Like I said, I'm either getting stopped out here or I'm waiting for this guy to get put in profit. Either one is fine with me. What time is it? 10:35? Okay. Good stuff, Tony. All right. I'm done for the day. I'm going to come back when things are moving better. We'll come back tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have a great rest of your day. I hope this stream has been useful to you. Whether it be for trade management purposes or sitting on your hands or thesis. Trade I just took, we started allowing shorts to make money. I had a thesis that we had a lower low first red day and a lower low in place. We made a lower low on the day. We went back to the high of the day. The high of the day potentially failed. And started allowing shorts to make money, even briefly. So I got in. And then immediately it flips around and goes back up towards the high. So there's still kind of evidence of shorts being trapped. If they were to have let this guy start making money, I would have added into my position and held for probably the low, either a low over here or even, the low of the day where the pump began, which was down over here. Showed a very, just a lack of willingness to do that. Really a lack of willingness to do pretty much anything. Even this stuff over here where, Greg, this is great. It moved decent here. Am I supposed to just start selling any, I have to wait for certain things to take place. And it just is not, for me personally, for my rules and the way that I execute, it was not tradable. All right, so we'll come back tomorrow. Same time, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time, ready to go. I will see you all then. Bye-bye.